Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for amazing content. Let's get started. The 1981 cent United States of America coin, commonly known as the Lincoln penny, is an important piece of American coinage history. It belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series, which first began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The obverse front of the 1980 penny features a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, which has remained the primary design for over a century. Above Lincoln's head is the word, "In God We Trust," to the left side is the word, "Liberty," and to the right is the year of mintage, 1980. Some coins also bear a small mintmark letter under the year, such as D for Denver Mint, or S for San Francisco, while coins struck in Philadelphia typically have no mintmark. On the reverse back of the 1980 penny, you will see the iconic Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparro in 1959, which replaced the original wheat ears reverse that ran from 1909–1958. The words, "United States of America," were inscribed across the top. The Latin motto, "E pluribus unum," is placed just above the memorial, and at the bottom is the denomination written as 1 cent. Interestingly, if you look closely at the Lincoln Memorial design with magnification, you can see a tiny image of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, making this design even more unique. In terms of composition, the 1980 Lincoln penny was struck from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a metal mix that had been in use since 1962. This copper composition makes these coins heavier and more reddish in color compared to the later post-1982 pennies, which switched to a zinc core with copper plating due to rising copper prices. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a smooth edge. The U.S. Mint produced these pennies in very large quantities in 1980, with hundreds of millions minted at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Because of this massive production, the 1980 penny is considered common in circulation, and its face value remains just 1 cent unless in exceptional uncirculated or proof condition. Proof coins, especially those struck at San Francisco with the S mint mark, are more collectible due to their mirror-like finish and sharp strike details. Collectors often seek high-grade examples with little to no wear, while error coins, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies, can fetch higher values in the numismatic market. Historically, the 1980 penny is also significant because it comes from a period just before the U.S. Mint made a major change in the composition of the cent. From 1982 onwards, most pennies were made from a copper-plated zinc core, meaning the 1980 issue represents one of the last years of traditional heavy copper cents. This makes it nostalgic for collectors who prefer the older, more durable copper coins. While most circulated examples hold minimal monetary value beyond their face or copper content, they remain a popular piece of American everyday history. Millions of people have used these coins in daily transactions, making them not only a collectible but also a cultural artifact representing the economy, design, and history of the late 20th century United States. The story of the 1980 Lincoln 1 cent coin cannot be understood without exploring the broader history of the Lincoln cent series, one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was a historic moment because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, breaking away from earlier traditions that only used symbolic figures like liberty. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor who admired Lincoln deeply. The original reverse side of the penny 1909–1958 featured 2 stalks of wheat, which gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. By 1959, the U.S. Mint decided to change the design to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse was redesigned by Frank Gasparro to feature the Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C. This design was chosen because the memorial itself was a national symbol of Lincoln's legacy, and it was unusual in world coinage since it depicted not just a building but also included a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. This reverse remained on the cent for more than 5 decades, from 1959 to 2008, making the 1980 penny part of this historic era. The 1980 penny is also significant in the timeline of U.S. coinage because it represents the final years of copper-based cents. From 1909 until 1982, most pennies were struck in a copper alloy, 95% copper, 5% zinc and tin earlier, later 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, by the late 1970s and early 1980s, the rising price of copper meant that it was becoming more expensive to produce a penny than its face value. This economic issue eventually led the U.S. Mint to change the composition in mid-1982 to a cheaper zinc core with copper plating. Therefore, the 1980 penny is part of the last, true copper, generation, giving it historical and sentimental value among collectors. During 1980, pennies were struck at 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, which were never intended for circulation but were sold to collectors in special proof sets. These proof coins had a polished, mirror-like finish and are more desirable for numismatists. Philadelphia and Denver, on the other hand, produced hundreds of millions of circulation strikes, ensuring that the 1980 penny was widely used in everyday commerce. Because of this, almost every American from that time period encountered and used these coins in daily life, embedding them deeply into the fabric of American economic and cultural history. From a historical perspective, the Lincoln cent has survived numerous challenges, including debates in Congress about eliminating the penny altogether due to production costs, inflation, and its decreasing purchasing power. Despite these challenges, the cent remains a beloved coin, partly because of its association with Abraham Lincoln, one of the most admired U.S. presidents. The 1980 issue stands at a crossroads between tradition and change. It kept alive the copper legacy of the past while existing just before the transition to modern zinc-based cents. For many collectors, this makes it a coin that not only represents everyday American life but also tells the story of economic changes, artistic continuity, and national memory.